So I'm delighted to welcome you today to this FRH talk on the Church of Santo Estevo de Pousada in Galicia, Spain. And I'm very pleased to welcome to you the two speakers that will present this wonderful site in Spain. Jesús Salvador López, who's graduated in art history, also a master in history and aesthetics and cinematography, and a degree in cultural management. He is currently the director of the Department of Cultural Heritage of the Diocese of Lugo and is responsible for the cultural heritage asset deposit of the Diocese of Lugo. And then there's also Uxía Aguiar Ballesteros, who is a conservator and restorer of cultural assets at the Diocese of Lugo. She's an university expert in stone conservation and architecture and sculpture. And she's coordinated many restoration projects with monumental architecture and works in various areas of the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela and the Lugo Cathedral. So you can start your presentation.
Good day to everyone. First, we are grateful to Future for Religious Heritage for inviting us to participate in this event, as well as for the support they have offered us throughout the nomination process. A special thank you to Rocío Sánchez and FRH, Future for Religious Heritage staff. As director of the Cultural Heritage Department of the Diocese of Lugo, I have the As director of the Cultural Heritage Department of the Diocese of Lugo, I have the privilege of visiting incredible places of great cultural significance. I was even lucky enough to discover some hidden gems and long-lost religious items. Major responsibilities include managing the religious cultural heritage of the Church in the 1,138 parishes of the Diocese de Lugo, which extends across 3 provinces of the autonomous community of Galicia in the northwest Spain. In the aforementioned territory, which faces many challenges, including rapid loss of population and abandonment of villages, we also find churches in ruinous conditions due to a variety of factors, such as loss of faith and lack of community support, or migration and depopulation. Unfortunately, this is a widespread problem throughout Galicia, especially in the interior regions. In this case, when the opportunity to participate in the 7 Most Endangered program arose, we chose one of those places that is currently in a state of abandonment. The place we chose, the Church of San Estevo de Pousada, is the epitome of this problem that reoccurs throughout the Galician landscape. San Estevo de Pousada is a small chapel which once used to be a parochial church. It is located close to the township of Baralla in a mountainous region that, through lack of job opportunities and other problems, has seen plenty of migration movements, leading to a rapid decrease of population. In the Roman times, the town of Baralla was known for its gold mines. Through historical sources, we know of the existence of a Christian community in the area from the 9th century onward. Architecturally speaking, the Church of San Estevo de Pousada is of Romanesque origin, built between 12th and 13th century. The building of the church therefore coincides with the golden age of the Camino de Santiago, or St. James Way. A variant of the Camino de Santiago, known as Via Cunic, passes through Baralla, close to the Church of San Estevo de Pousada. These historically significant roots helped to introduce Flemish and Renaissance artistic influence into the region in the 16th century. Yeah. Proof of this are the mural paintings or frescoes inside the church, which date from the year 1582. Since then, with the exception of some carvings dating from the 18th century and a lost altarpiece, there were no major changes to the church until its drastic renovation in the 1975. This renovation led to the destruction of the old building front and the creation of a new one built with concrete blocks. Since then, the church has not been used as a religious or cultural meeting place. Certainly, the loss of its centrality as parochial church in the 1890 contributed to its deterioration throughout the 20th century and its eventual closure. Faced with the ruinous state of the building, the Diocese of Lugo, in collaboration with the current priest and the Council of Mallarach, started a conversation about the church that resulted in a community-led project that aims to renovate the Church of Santo Estevo and reinvigorate its environs. We are glad to say that this project is well supported by the local community, as we can personally testify to through our many visits to the area. The project is also well supported by the local authorities. We also have the support and collaboration of the Xunta de Galicia, our regional government, especially through the Department of Culture and Heritage. It goes without saying that the project also has the support of the technical experts of the Diocese of Lugo, who will oversee the remedying of the pathologies present in the building. The first steps towards the reclaiming of this place, the church and its environs, require the making of a technical project for the roof, as well as the improvement of the inner and outer walls. We are also working to improve the area immediately surrounding the building, removing the concrete flooring from the atrium, therefore restoring it to its natural appearance, grass, as well as rebuilding the partially demolished low walls that surround the church and atrium. The last technical inspections made to the building have advised immediate remedial actions to protect the mortar in the presbyterium and the frescoes painting on it. We have been told there is a significant risk of collapse. Many of the movable elements present in the church will have to be removed and transported to the art vault of the Diocese of Lugo, so they can undergo a collateral process. Regarding the pathologies, problems, and treatments of frescoes, my colleague Uxía will explain it better than I can. While we take the measures to preserve the building, the frescoes and other elements present inside, we also carry out research about the historical and cultural importance of the place and the local area. There are numerous churches close to San Estevo de Pousada with similar frescoes on their walls, like San Martiño de Bercelos, San Xurxo de Valle, Santiago de Covas, or San Juan de Leixo. All of them, sadly, in a similar condition of ruin and mostly unknown to the general public. Alongside our research, we also organize events to disseminate the information we have gathered about this and other similar churches. The Diocese of Lugo has planned cultural and informational events to explain the project to the community so as to amplify the message, gather as much support as possible, and raise awareness about the risk to our cultural heritage, especially about the risks of losing the cultural and historical significance of religious places that are being abandoned at present. For instance, we are planning an informative event on the 28th of February, to which we have invited the local community. They are welcome to join us in cleaning up the place and learn more about the restoration project. We are also studying the possibility of adding the Church of San Estevo to the routes and events organized by the Via Cunif Association, which is planning several community actions to increase public awareness about this variant of the Camino de Santiago. Furthermore, the Council of Baraya is undertaking conservation efforts along the Neira River bank with the creation of pedestrian paths and environmental improvements. To the entire area, Santo Estevo de Pousada is squarely within this area of intervention. Without doubt, it will be positively impacted by these efforts. In fact, the church was once known as Santo Estevo de Neira, a clear reference to the Neira River which flows nearby. Reclaiming that connection to the landscape is yet another positive result of this restoration project. The ultimate goal of this restoration project, and in truth, all past and future projects of this kind, is to rehumanize. On the one hand, to attract visitors, job opportunities, and new residents to the area. On the other, to reclaim the building itself for the new use, as a place of worship, for sure, but also as a community meeting place, as most churches in our area used to be. The mission to rehumanize is not only an investment in the present to preserve our past, but a commitment to make our history available to future generations, so they will have a chance to know their cultural roots.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I will present the particular case of the frescoes inside San Estevo de Pousada, an understanding example of Renaissance mural painting in Galicia that is currently in a critical situation, requiring our immediate attention. My presentation is based on a preliminary study carried out by our cultural heritage team of the Diocese of Lugo during the technical visit conducted the last February 3rd. During the visit, we carried out an exhaustive analysis and included environmental measurements, organoleptic analysis of the sample and sampling of suggestive laboratory studies. The situation we found is concerning, but we have a clear action plan that I would like to share with you. The frescoes of San Estevo de Pousada represent a complex iconographic program. In the triumphal arch, which marks the transition to the most sacred space, we find a magnificent representation of the Annunciation, flanked by the figures of San Roche and San Sebastian, saints traditionally invoked against epidemic. Particularly valuable detail is the cartouche located next to St. Rose, which provides us with the exact date of creation, 1582. This precise dating allows us to contextualize the work in a specific historical moment. On the lateral walls of the presbytery, scenes from the Passion of Priests I developed with the back wall. The focal point of the ensemble is presided over the martyrium of Saint Stephen, Santo Estevo, a scene of particular significance for the temple's dedication. This composition is supervised by the figure of God the Father, represented above the sphere of the world in a blessing gesture. The pictorial decoration reveals a clear Renaissance influence, visible in elements such as circlet with classic inspired half-point arcs and bibliotheques and candelieri motifs that decorate the triumphal arch. The current situation of the ensemble is truly concerning. The measures and analysis carried out during our technical visit have revealed a complex pattern of alteration affecting both the architectural structure and the mural paintings. The structural problems are especially serious and have their main origin in a deterioration of the roof. The movements and openings of the roofing allow uncontrolled rainwater entry, which is causing severe problems in the presbytery vault and the triumphal arch, where we observe active cracks that are progressively worsening. This situation is severely aggravated by the proliferation of climbing plants, whose roots penetrate the existing cracks, exerting additional pressures that increase the structural damage. Adding of these problems is the replacement of the original facade with a new concrete block construction in 1975, which also responded to urgent structural problems at the time, has generated additional tension in the walls due to material incompatibility. The result is a complete picture of structural deterioration where each factor, efficient roof, water entry, plant colonization, and material incompatibility adds to aggravate the effects of the others, creating a vicious circle, a synergy of degradation that requires urgent and coordinated intervention. The environmental conditions are equally concerning. We record a relative humidity of 74%, significantly higher than recommended levels, and surface temperatures of 6.8 degrees Celsius that promotes condensation processes. This situation is aggravated by multiple rainwater filtrations through the damaged roof. Regarding the paintings, the preparatory layers present serious adhesion problems with pockets and lifting. The surface shows various types of alteration: accumulated dirt, remains of historical line washes, saline beds generated by carbonation, and even issues caused by a previous uncontrolled delining process. Additionally, we have detected biological colonization in the form of algal patina and highly proliferated growth of higher plants, which are causing additional damage to the structure. Based on our diagnosis, we have designed an intervention plan structured in 5 cleaning phases. The first phase completes emergency actions to stabilize the sample. It is fundamental to act immediately in areas with imminent risk of detachment. We propose implementing protective fencing and using lime injection mortars. These actions will focus especially on the vault and critical adhesion points in the walls. The second phase focuses on environment control. The controlled data indicates an urgent need to implement a controlled ventilation system that allows regulation on the environmental condition without generating sudden fluctuations. We will install a continuous monitoring system for temperature and relative humidity that will allow us to evaluate the effectiveness of the ventilation measures adopted. In the third phase, we address the structural intervention problem. We will proceed with the controlled removal of cement parts and lime wash remains, followed by a structural consolidation through lime mortar injections and sealing with the same material, aerial lime mortar. The lacunae will be filled with lime mortar and aggregates of similar nature at the caliber of the original. The fourth phase will be focused on the specific treatment of the mural paintings. We will begin with the consolidation of the pictorial layers, paying special attention to areas with loss of adhesion. The cleaning and removal of salts and carbonation will be carried out gradually and selectively, starting from the dry cleaning to physical and chemical cleaning with techniques such as ultrasound and cellulose poultices, and solutions formulated for each area. Preliminary tests will be conducted to determine the exact methodology and formulations. Finally, the first phase we address aesthetic reintegration, differentiating treatment according to the location and extent of the lacunae. In figurative scenes, we will apply chromatic selection criterion in gradient, while in decorative areas, we will opt for rigatino reintegration, thus avoiding falling into interpretation of historical frescoes. The pictorial technique used, high pigmentation watercolor, will be retractable. To conclude, I would like to emphasize three fundamental aspects of this project. First, the urgency of the intervention. Each passing day, the deterioration agents continue affecting this valuable pictorial ensemble, and more fragments of the frescoes are becoming detached. Secondly, the importance of preventive conservation. Our heritage team at the Diocese of Lugo has its fundamental principle: prevention over restoration. Therefore, the maintenance and control plan we have designed is as important as intervention itself. Once the intervention is completed, we will consider the possibility of a controlled opening on the temple that allows for the dissemination, enhancement, and use by society of this important heritage, always under strict environmental control protocols and regulated access. Finally, I would like to highlight the exceptional value of this ensemble. The mural paintings of Santo Estevo de Pousada are not only an outstanding example of mannerist painting in Galicia, they are a testimony of a historical moment that we must preserve and above all, bring back to life. This heritage must reclaim the role surrounding society, becoming once again an active part of this community. It's not just about preserving a cultural asset for future generations, but about reactivity is a living and a meaningful element for today's society, allowing it to reestablish connection with its environment and these people. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Uxía and Jesús, for this wonderful presentation. It gives a very good idea on the challenges facing this church and how you're addressing it. And I see that you say that the diocese has this proactive approach as well of damage mitigation, avoiding damage. Maybe you could explain a bit. Is there a way that the buildings the diocese manages are cataloged and then grouped together by the challenges they face? And do you have this sort of proactive approach to mitigating the damage they're facing?
Well, like I say, the Diocese of Lugo is very large in number of churches and worship places. It's over 1,000 parishes, and this is about approximately 2,000 buildings. In this scenario, we have to try to make a prevention over conservation, because it's an economic issue.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the resources to restore every church or every painting or every sculpture. So it's like a fundamental process is being always on the prevention. Through our team, our department, cultural heritage, in connection with colleagues from the Diocese of Lugo that have the working force. So I think it's is a transversal action in the diocese, and the risk is evaluated on the historical value of the place and the actual condition. So in case we have to work or take some action on the building, we use that form, evaluate the historical importance, the legal protection links with that historical value, and the resource, the economic economic amount needed to restore the building.
And always also investigation.
Yes, it's very important for us to make carry out always a research about the story about our heritage, because we have the lack of a catalog or inventory actualized update. So every intervention has to finish with a complete report of the restoration and his historical value.
Yeah, thanks so much for this. I guess that what you're doing is the ideal approach that ideally could be done across Europe, which is first documenting what you have, cataloging it, researching what is needed, and then mitigating more risk, so ensuring at least the status quo is maintained, and then trying to be creative, finding additional funding resources for specific interventions. So yeah, that's a very good structured approach you're following. So now we can open the floor to any questions, comments participants may have. So feel free to, I see Barbara, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much for this interesting lecture or explanation presentation. If I heard correctly, there was some evidence of Flemish artists, correct? Or at least in in the collection of parishes that you have in that region, in the diocese. So I was wondering if when you see that you find evidence of certain artists of certain other countries, do you get in touch with these countries, with these regions to see, if they can, just to be aware, first of all, of the fact of, that you're working on this. But is there any link at the moment within the Diocese of Lugo with any other regions or countries related on the findings of the hands that have worked in these churches on the decoration, for example? Thank you.
Thanks. At this moment, is a report historical fact. At this moment, we only in touch with Portuguese churches, with Portuguese dioceses, like Braga and others. The Flemish connection and the Renaissance connection is along the St. James Way. Many of the authors of the 15th century and 16th century come along the pilgrimage route. It is at this moment we don't in touch with the countries. We study, and many of them we know that established in Galicia, Santiago majorly, and other places, and work like a team, like a itinerary team along the Camino. I guess it will be a very interesting possibility for us connect with that origin countries and try to show the links, the traces of the mural and and show how the connection with Europe along the Camino was easy, I don't say that links with Central Europe at this time, 14th century, 15th century, creates a complete and new art environment on the north of Spain. And will be very interested, possibly it's a very interesting point. Try to reconnect with our links through the coming at this moment. But
And
not at this moment. I guess at this moment we only in touch with the Portuguese churches, not Portugal.
Okay, I will leave my email address because myself and also I see we're another colleague from the agency, the Founders Heritage Agency, Sarah Vermeulen, who is present also in this meeting. But I'm going to leave my email address in case you want to send over some information to the Flemish government. Feel free to use us as messengers, so to say. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adam Kloops, go ahead.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the presentation. Just for your information, I work for the Diocese of Gloucester in the southwest of England. So the context of your work is something I'm very, very familiar with. What I wanted to ask is the funding situation. Where does the money come from? Does it come from the diocese directly? Do you rely on any external funding? How does that work? Because the way it works here is we kind of expect our parishes to raise the funds. There is very little money in the diocesan pot for projects like the one you've just talked about. So I'm just curious how that compares to your context, please.
Okay, the main sources is the diocese. Diocese has a budget for this restoration process. We also have the help from the local and regional government through the heritage, cultural and heritage department. By Spanish law, have the obligation to endorse and promote the restoration of the heritage of Spain. So in major small chapels and churches, basically is the diocese with their budget and schedule. It's a question about the budget, the annual budget, and a schedule with the principal, with the priorities that talk us. We have been talking about that. So the biggest churches or the biggest projects need the collaboration of the government. So at this moment, for example, there is a restoration process at the Lugo Cathedral. That is the most important heritage assets in Lugo, the capital of province. So it's about €500,000, and the government through regional government through her fund, her budget, and with European funds further will make the restoration. So it's in small churches, rural communities through dioceses basic, and the major restoration projects with the collaboration of the local and regional government.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Perhaps I can go over now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question about, because this site has been shortlisted for the 7 Most Endangered program. And I wanted to ask how your experience was during the nomination process and how it has helped, or how, if it has been useful for you, for example, to conduct research about the history of the place, or in which way it has influenced your work, the fact that this site was nominated.
Well, we are very grateful for this nomination, because the question of the raised awareness about our heritage and cultural assets is very important for us because of the population, like I say. So all this nomination and all the press was welcome, because allow us to show the team, the work made by the dioceses and the department team, and other communities, other priests, other local councils have been in touch with us to ask about how to make this again. So it's like a very positive moment for us at this time, because there is a lot of people talk about these local communities, like which is the most important for us. So the local communities and the local government talk with us and make a work for the future, for these buildings and the needs they have.
Thanks so much for that. Again, this demonstrates the importance and the imperative to share everyone's work on a European level, to connect with other people working in a similar way, to participate in these award schemes, anything that can raise awareness, give visibility to the work. For example, what you mentioned on Flemish artists that worked on the Camino, several religious heritage sites in the Camino, that then this could potentially be linked to experts on Flemish art in Flanders. So all these sort of dynamics, I think, are very good to create these synergies, to just raise awareness, because often in religious heritage there might be somebody working on a tiny project in a small rural area, but if they can find links on a wider European level, this can give place to collaboration projects, exchanges, research. So I think it's very valuable, and it's great that you've been able to be one of the shortlisted as one of the most endangered sites in Europe. So this definitely brings light on the urgent need that this site faces. Any other questions, comments? Anything else? No? All right. Well, then I would like to thank you so much, Jesús and Uxía, for this wonderful presentation, and many thanks to all participants for joining today. And please stay tuned for our upcoming FRH talks on endangered religious heritage. And for anything, feel free to contact us for any questions. If you want to connect with any of the speakers or participants, we're always there to help you. So thank you so much, and I wish you all a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.